Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to take a look at branding and all the various components of it. So brand names, logos, and slogans. Now this is my favorite part of marketing, so you're going to have to bear with me. I love talking about branding. It includes visual and auditory components. So make sure you get out your notes, follow the STORM philosophy, and sit back and enjoy. Okay, so what are we going to look at today? Well, we'll first look at brand names and the difference between corporate dominant and product dominant brand names. Then we'll take a look at the three different types of logos: monogrammatic, visual, and abstract. And lastly, we'll finish up with slogans. And as Rick Hansen, we always say here, the end is just the beginning. So what is branding? Well, branding or a brand name gives a product its distinct identity. This is what sets it apart from its competition. This is called differentiation. It helps consumers understand what the brand is, what it's trying to convey, the positioning and all of those things that we've looked at, and remember this so that when they go back to the store, they can look for the brand, they can recognize it, and they'll buy it. And this is what we refer to as top-of-mind awareness. So if I were to say shoes, maybe some of you would say Nike. That's because that brand has illustrated it can achieve top-of-mind awareness with you. Now the brand consists of all features that make up a product's image, not just the brand name, but also the slogan and the logo. And this conveys the product's personality. It conveys the position in the marketplace. However, some products can be unbranded, and these products are just so generic that there's no point adding a brand name to it. These are what we refer to as commodities. So steak and chicken and pork and oil and wheat and milk and all these other commodities, we can't really brand them because they're too similar. If I give you one glass of milk from one manufacturer and I give you another glass of milk from another manufacturer, you would not be able to tell the difference. There's no way to identify that. So what we do with these types of products, we leave these unbranded and we allow marketing boards to market them. And instead of branding a specific manufacturer, they just simply brand the product and try to increase consumption in the overall market. Rather than drink Sealtest milk or drink Nielsen milk, it's simply drink milk. Got milk? So the first part of a brand that we need to address is what we call brand names. This is the verbal part of the brand. It's what we say when we're looking for a certain product. This can be either corporate dominant or product dominant. So let's take a look at each. Corporate dominant brand names refer to the manufacturing company or the name of the product, which is the manufacturing company. So Roots and Nike and Hollister and Harley Davidson, these are all corporate dominant names. If you're looking for clothing, instead of saying clothing, you might say, I'm looking for Roots clothing. Or if you're looking for shoes, I'm looking for a pair of Nikes. Or if you're trying to buy a motorcycle, I'm looking for a Harley, or I'm going to purchase a Harley. Okay, these are corporate dominant brands. An extension of the corporate dominant brands are what we refer to as private label brands, and many retailers have their private labels. These exploit the corporate image of the seller as opposed to the manufacturer. So President's Choice, Life, Mastercraft, Joe, George, these are all made by other manufacturers. It's not like Loblaws in the back storeroom there. They have people putting clothing together or putting beans in a can. These are made by other manufacturers, and then simply Loblaws puts their brands on them. So only the retailer sells these brands. President's Choice and Joe only available at Loblaws. Life at Shoppers Drug Mart. Mastercraft at Canadian Tire. George at Walmart. These are private label brands. So the other type of brand names are what we refer to as product dominant brands. These brand names try to connect to the positive attributes of the product. So rather than simply a Sony game console, we refer to a PlayStation. It's something you really enjoy and you play and you use it and all those things. Pampers. Rather than just putting diapers on a baby, you're putting Pampers on the baby and you're pampering the baby. Right? Timberland refers to the ruggedness of the outdoors. Country style, that rural country feeling when you're drinking your cup of coffee. And zest, you're getting zestfully clean, right? That you're getting so fresh and so clean, it's so zesty, right? These are product dominant brand names. So now that we've addressed the verbal component of the brand, we now have to address the visual or symbolic component of the brand. And this is what we refer to as a logo. It's all of the visual or symbolic ways that we create the brand. These are trademarks and brand marks and logo types and corporate symbols. These are all highly protected because they are so unique, right? And it sets the product away from other products sitting on the shelf. Now, logos can have three basic forms, from the monogrammatic symbol to the visual symbol to the abstract symbol. The first monogrammatic logos are stylized pieces of writing that portrays the company's name or initials or a combination of initials and numbers in the logo. So IBM is a great example of a monogrammatic logo. GE, Post, Bauer. So it can be initials, it can be a combination of such, but it has to do with letters and or numbers. Visual symbols are drawings of people, animals, or objects. Right? So oftentimes we see a visual symbol with the brand name underneath it or next to it, but the visual symbol is the logo. The Toronto Blue Jays, for example, has the Blue Jay as its visual logo. Now, a strong visual symbol with a strong brand name can communicate a great deal about the product or service. You may not be sure what Petro-Canada does, but you definitely know it's Canadian. Right? You're not sure necessarily what WWF does, but you know it has to do with some sort of wildlife. NBA, pretty apparent there as far as what it's connected with. So visual symbols can be highly descriptive even without any words. And lastly, abstract symbols. Now this is where the marketing or creative department just got crazy, right? So these abstract symbols carry some sort of visual message, but they're really not that identifiable. They're a vague product association. They should, however, be easy to reproduce. And if you're going to have an abstract logo, you need to make sure you put it on everything. Reinforce the brand name, reinforce the logo. Pepsi, many people have suggested that it's kind of a smile, but it's abstract. Windows, you kind of see a window there, but again, abstract. Subaru, if you know where Subaru is headquartered, you'll know what that symbol is about. Okay, so many abstract symbols are somewhat connected to the product or brand name or the history of the company or some way, but they are very, very creative and they're, well, out there kind of. Well, we've addressed the verbal and the visual. The last sense that we need to address, and notice how brand names really try to connect with multiple senses, it's auditory. So this is the short, catchy phrase that you're always hearing when you see a commercial or that you see it written next to the company's name or logo. And this connects with your auditory memory, so that when you hear a product, you'll remember the short, catchy slogan that goes with it. So with Rick Hansen, the end is just the beginning. We try and reinforce this all the time in the school. Impossible is nothing. Got milk? Just do it. The best a man can get. They're great. It's the real thing, and a diamond is forever. All of these are short, catchy slogans that are memorable. Okay, well this brings us to our end of the video. So, see if you can answer these questions. What's the main difference between a corporate dominant brand and a product dominant brand? Now, throughout the video, I've identified various positive qualities of a good logo or a good slogan. See if you can identify these. So make sure your notes are in order. Make sure you summarize them. You've added your own discussion questions. And come to class prepared tomorrow. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. That's all. That's everything. We'll see you tomorrow.